So here we are with our new chapter, natural numbers and whole numbers. Now, before we move into this chapter and understand what it is all about, it's a very short chapter. There are some properties later on given for addition and subtraction, which we're not going to do basically because those ones are done in the higher class. We don't want to confuse you with those properties. We will be dealing with them in a much more simpler and easier way. But before we move on to the chapter, we need to understand what natural numbers and whole numbers are. Natural numbers or whole numbers are the same, but they have one distinct difference between them. Now, as I've written out here, natural numbers are counting numbers. When you started counting in life for the first time, or when your teachers taught you how to count, you started with the number 1. So we started counting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth. All counting numbers come as natural numbers. That's why they're called natural, because they come to us naturally, or we naturally remember them. When we talk about whole numbers also include all the natural numbers. But the only difference between natural number and whole number is the number 0, which comes just before 1. So 0 becomes the predecessor of 1. Or if I ask you what is the predecessor of 1, 0 is the predecessor of 1 because it comes before 1 and it is one value less than 1. So natural numbers are counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Whole numbers are all natural numbers, including 0. 0 is included in whole numbers. That's the only difference between natural numbers and whole numbers. Natural numbers are our counting numbers, but when our counting numbers include the number 0, then they become whole numbers. So the only difference is that natural numbers start from 1 and whole numbers start from 0. You will be going to a new page, writing the heading of the chapter. Write 1, natural numbers, this definition that I have given in your notebook. Write number 2, whole numbers, write this definition and write the examples. This has to be copied into your notebook as notes for the second chapter. We now directly move into the exercise, and we are doing exercise 2.1. Remember, children, I have told you again and again, and I hope you are doing it. If you are doing it, it's very good. Please do continue that effort that you have been making, and that is writing the instructions, because it is very important for you to start using your book. Just copying the sums along with the answer is not the done thing. Instructions have to be written by you in your notebook. Do not start a sum until or unless you have written down the instructions. Be neat with your work, keep your work updated, and keep it organized and see that all the sums that have been done in the video are there and all your work is complete. So we come to sum number 1, and sum number 1 says, write the successors of. Now, successors and predecessors is something that has already been taught to you, but here they have just put it as a revision, you may say, or put it with larger numbers to see how well you can identify a number and write its successor or predecessor. Now, when we talk about a successor of a number is a number that comes immediately after it. That means it is one value more than the number that is there. One value. One value means if I add 1 to this, I find the successor. If to 79 I add 1, it becomes 80. Or when I add 1 here, 9 and 1, 10, 1 is carried over, and 7 and 1 gives me 8, 80, 80. So a successor is a number that comes immediately after the number. And to come immediately after a number, every number that comes after a number goes on increasing in value by 1, by the value of 1. If I'm going from 2 to 3, 2 has increased to 3 by the value of 1, because if to 2 I add 1, it becomes 3. To 3, if I add 1, it becomes 4. To 4, I add 1, it becomes 5. So to find the successor of a particular number, I have to add 1 or go to the next number, the immediate number after it. So here I have 2,35,679. While writing a successor, I need to look at the last place value, that is the units place. If it happens to be 0, then I go to the next place value. So here, the last place value in the units place is 9. This 9, if increased by 1, becomes 10. The 1 is carried over here. So 7 and 1, 8. Obviously, we all know that after 79 comes 80. So my number will be 2,35,680. And that is the successor of 2,35,679. Remember, the successor of a number is a number that comes immediately after it or is greater than it by 1. Is greater by it by 1. That means it increases in value by 1, and so it becomes a successor, the next number coming after it. 7,86,420. After 20, now here in the units place is 0. So I go to the next place value, that is the tens, and we have 2. This 0, if I increase it by 1, it becomes 21. So I look at the last place value and I increase it by 1. But natural, after 20 comes 21. So this becomes 7,86,421. In each case, in any case, do remember that it is the units place that is added by 1 to increase its value. Whether you have any digit out there, all you need to do is add 1. And if it does increase, it will go to the next place value and increase that. If that increases, the next place value will increase. And thereby, there will come a time when no other digits will increase and you will get the number. Like here, 99. Now, if I add 1 here, 9 plus 1 gives me 10. Again, 9 plus 1 gives me 10. And this 1 comes down. Here, it stops increasing. So 99 changes to 100. In simple terms, any number, for me to find the successor of any number, all I need to do is add 1 or ask myself, what is the next number that comes after it? It may be just the units place. It may be just the units and tens place. It may be the hundreds place. Now, what comes after 9 here? Many times we look at only the last digit and ask ourselves. But we need to look at the whole period also sometimes and ask ourselves. Because after 9 comes 10. But if after 9 comes 10, but then I have a 9 out here, the 1 will be carried over. Again, 9 will become 10, and again, 1 will be carried over in 100. What is better to ask yourself is, what number comes after the number 99? After 99 comes 100. So this will be 9,80,100. So my successor, 9,80,100. 9,80,100. So that's about successors. Now let's come to predecessors. Predecessor is a number that is one number less than the number that we are searching for, or the number that is given when I'm searching for predecessor. Here I add 1. In this I subtract 1. So I am going backwards. Predecessor means before, pre means before, successor means after. You must have heard this word also in history, successor. The successor of so-and-so king was so-and-so. The successor of a father is always his son. So if the king has a son, when he dies, his son takes over. But his son came into the world after him. So that is why he is called the successor. But his father, who was the king, was his predecessor because his father came in the world before him. So similarly, the number before this. Now, I go to units, tens, hundreds, all are zeros, and I come to this number, that is 7,000. So you start with the units and you go down the line till you come to a perfect number, because you're 0, 0, 0, but here I come to 7. So my number is 7,000. My number is 7,000. And I have to ask myself which number comes up before 7,000. Because if I minus 1 from here, see, minusing and adding or addition or subtraction is going to eat up into your time. So you always go period wise. It is more beneficial and much more better for you to go to period wise. Like here I have 679, so I know 680 is the next number. 420, so the next number I know is 421. 99, so I know the next number is 100. So here, if I've got zeros in my hundreds, I go to my thousands and I get 7,000. And I ask myself, what is the number that comes just before 7,000? And the number that comes just before 7,000 is 6,999. So my number becomes 5,67,000. So I'm going to replace this by less than 1. So 67. So this 67 will become 66,999. So the predecessor of 5,67,000 will be 5,66,999 because it comes just before 7,000. And any hundreds, thousands, 10,000s number before that comes into 999 with the number before it. Because before 7 comes 6 and the remaining digits are followed by 9. Because after I say 6,999, the next number will be 7,000. Now 5,67,000 is the successor of 5,66,999. But 5,66,999 is the predecessor of 5,67,000. This comes before this, and this comes after this. So the successor and predecessor are interrelated with each other. One comes before and one comes after. Similarly, here you can see this number comes after this number. So this is the successor. But if this number is given, then this will become the predecessor. Let's go to the next number, 34,59,080. So I have a definite number here, 80. And I know before 80, which number comes? I'm finding predecessor, not successor. Before. So before 80 comes 79. So this will become 34,59,079. And that's my predecessor. 89 lakhs, no thousands, 120. So my perfect period is 120. Always looked at the perfect period to change it to a successor or predecessor. Here I have my hundreds very clear. But here I did not have hundreds, so I go into my thousands, not to the 10,000, but to the thousands. If this was also 0, then I would go to, I would go to the 10,000s. So go to the perfect period and then ask yourself. So here the perfect period was 80, here it was 7,000. Here the perfect period is 120. And I ask myself, what is the number that comes before 120? Or I can also take the tens place and say what comes before 20. So before 20 comes 19. So this will become 89 lakhs 119. and that's my predecessor. Successor and predecessors have already been done with you in class 5. It's only here that they have used larger numbers for you to utilize your brain more, or try to make an emphasis or an effort to find out exactly what would be the predecessor or successor. And believe me when I tell you, here more zeros will be increased in order to find out whether you can find out the successors successfully and the predecessors. So these are the successors and these are the predecessors. Remember, the instruction has to be taken down from the textbook and the sums from the video. You can pause the video, take a snapshot, and then zoom in and complete your work. But instructions have to be taken down from the textbook.